Self-development. Lee TV. Tackling inequality, where to start? Issues around inequality have been a recurring theme throughout human history, but they are now being viewed differently and are rapidly emerging as a major challenge. In South Korea in particular, conflicts around disability, gender, and generations are emerging as socially significant issues, and solutions are increasingly needed to address them. Interestingly, when it comes to inequality, many people expect more from businesses than governments. And the message this sends to businesses is very important. In this Ipsos Insights article, More Equal Than Others, we explore the role that companies can play in reducing social inequality. Inequality is a growing problem. Whether it's wages, access to facilities and services, resource distribution, equality of opportunity, or fair treatment, there is much more transparency and expectation than in the past. As a result, inequality in modern society is increasingly sensitive and has a social impact on more people than ever before. While we can all agree that inequality should be disappearing from our society, it is actually growing in many parts of the world. In addition to racism, it takes many forms, including discrimination based on gender or sexual orientation, class, age, religion, and neurodiverse disabilities, including ADHD, intellectual spectrum, personality disorders, and more. People believe that these inequalities are detrimental to the development and growth of individuals, countries, and organizations when they affect financial outcomes, resources, and success. According to an Ipsos survey conducted in April 2023, more than 30% of global citizens ranked inequality as a major social problem after inflation. During the past 3 years of the COVID-19 pandemic, the issue of inequality has become even more acute. A deteriorating job market and increased work from home have left many workers feeling the pinch, further exacerbating economic inequality. Generational perceptions of inequality vary. It's hard to tell at a glance how different countries are concerned about inequality or how specific inequality issues are problematic within their culture. However, one area that stood out to us was the similarities in generational perceptions of inequality. In our 2021 Global Inequality Survey, we found that the younger people in the world take the issue of racial, ethnic, and gender inequality more seriously. Our research on success and equality also shows that millennials have different standards and values for fairness and success. There is also a widening generational gap in perceptions of the opportunities and value of age and experience. How does inequality persist? So why does the problem of inequality persist? Bias and inequality often stem from lies, words. Here are some of the most common ones. Poor people don't work as hard as rich people. People who speak a different language than us aren't as smart as us. People with disabilities are less capable than people without disabilities. Women's contributions are less valuable than men's. These falsehoods become deeply embedded in human society as implicit biases. And even if they are later proven false, they can influence generations in the form of convention. Implicit bias refers to the unintentional biases that people hold without being aware of them. Conscious cognitive processes influence our decisions, attitudes, and behaviors, and often perpetuate social inequality. The social impact of inequality. The problem of inequality doesn't just end with itself, it affects society as a whole. Unlike in the past, when traditional media was more influential, in the modern world, many issues are shared quickly through social media. As a result, inequality issues have a greater reach and transparency than ever before. In this environment, people are more easily exposed to inequality, which in turn has a significant impact on their motivation, engagement, and effectiveness. Inequality also affects our health and quality of life. In general, the higher the level of inequality in a society, the more dissatisfied people are with their society and the less trust they have in each other. On the other hand, lower levels of inequality increase social trust, which has a significant impact on keeping national finances healthy. How should businesses respond to social inequality? Many argue that businesses, more than governments, can make a meaningful difference in addressing social inequality. Indeed, whenever society has faced any problem globally, people have emphasized the role of business. It's time for business and economics to take social inequality seriously. Especially in the modern world, ESG has been emphasized due to the increasing diversity and rapid changes in the business environment. As a result, companies need to showcase their employees' full potential through new innovations to positively realize the company's vision, values, and brand purpose. Outside of your organization, you can collaborate with other organizations with the same vision and brand purpose to address inequality. If you're a locally based company, you can also support communities working to reduce inequality in your area. Again, your authenticity and integrity will be the most important thing here. What if you want to address inequality within your own organization? While it's important for companies to address social inequality, an even more pressing issue is inequality within their own organizations. So how do you identify inequality within your organization, and what steps can you take to address it? Here are 4 things to keep in mind and apply to your organization. 1. Measure with precision. You need a granular view of whether inequality and discrimination exist among your employees. Analyzing gender, race, language, physical ability, education, and more can uncover unequal practices that are perpetuated internally. Here, executives need to be open to the results of internal data analysis and willing to accept non-traditional perspectives. 2. Equality versus fairness of opportunity. Equity within an organization breaks down when the distribution of positions and opportunities for advancement are unfair, or when unconscious bias exists within the organization in the process. Therefore, it's important to have evidence of how diversity and inclusion, D&I factors within your organization, contribute to employee retention and promotion and advancement. Additionally, providing coaching and opportunities for those who share the skills or education needed for promotion or advancement can help ensure representation in decision-making. 3. Involve all stakeholders. With a focus on diversity and inclusion, D&I, you should engage all stakeholders in your organization to explore perceptions of organizational culture and employee experience, as well as drivers of longevity, retention. By leveraging quality community and empathy programs, you can learn more about the inclusion and sense of belonging your employees feel within your organizational culture and community atmosphere. 4. Set strategic priorities. Once you've identified structural and behavioral issues and biases through in-depth research, companies can now intervene in a variety of ways to address them. Create a strategy to close the gap on inequality and bias, and set KPIs to measure your organization's contribution. By quantifying the effectiveness of your strategy, you'll be able to adjust your strategy and KPIs for future challenges to maximize effectiveness. The issue of inequality isn't just an end in itself, it affects society as a whole. In the modern world, issues are quickly shared through social media, which makes inequality issues more visible and transparent than ever before. This makes people more sensitive to inequality, which affects social trust, motivation, engagement, and effectiveness. Inequality also affects our health and quality of life. Higher inequality increases dissatisfaction within society and undermines mutual trust. Conversely, lower inequality increases social trust, which also has implications for keeping national finances healthy. Therefore, companies should adopt a variety of strategies based on their response to the issue of inequality in society. It's not just about addressing inequality. Inequalities within the organization should also be carefully identified and addressed. These changes and efforts will help create a more equal and fairer society. Thanks for watching.